Hello. What's up, homies? Give me a second. Alright. Wagwan. Hello. What's up, guys? Okay. What's up, man? Yes, I'm doing amazing. What about you guys? Oh, actually, I got a lot of muscle aches, man. My back is actually hurting me, so I'm going to get a massage today. Just to think Bitcoin was 90K in November? Yeah, but don't put too much emphasis on the price right now, man. The market is the market, papito. Okay, interesting week. Guys, welcome. I do have a couple of announcements, a couple of things that I'd like to share with you guys. For the people that don't really read the announcements. First of all, let's discuss the key message from MEXC. So for everybody that has been using MEXC in the past, if you don't really have any work around, then you're pretty much obliged, to stop making use of MEXC, man. So they are pretty much requesting everybody, to transfer their funds. You know, they work with specific phases, they work with specific badges, so to say. Badges, I mean, instead of a badge. And as you can see, they communicated a couple of important dates to each and every one of you guys. And just be sure that you guys obviously take the necessary steps, before it's too late, and that they will most likely freeze your funds. So please, guys, most of you will probably have about, 2 weeks to do whatever the fuck is needed in order to, transfer your funds, close open positions or anything else before they will most likely close your accounts, man. So be wary of this, okay? This is applicable for everybody that has used MEXC to a certain extent, okay? When I be using OKX, I will use a combination because I live in Malta. So obviously this is applicable for people that live in the Netherlands, okay? MEXC is winding down services in the Netherlands. Do you know the reason why they did this? Yeah, of course, they aren't MiCA compliant. You know, this regulatory stuff from the EU, from the European Union, this MiCA license, this market in crypto assets license, that has pretty much been implemented by the European Union towards all the crypto exchanges. MEXC isn't compliant, nor will they become compliant. So, I mean, the MiCA license, long story short, is pretty much just an extra law, so they can control, they pretty much have visibility over your crypto earnings, your crypto assets, that's pretty much it, man. Obviously, it's up to you whether you hop over to different, of course, bro, it makes sense, else they will, get fines. So that's why they distance themselves from the Netherlands and probably from the EU at some point of time. Because you need to understand that, MiCA is applicable to entire EU. And obviously with me living in Malta, I understand Malta is also part of the of EU. However, I do feel like, I would still be able to use MEXC to a certain extent, but I will probably need to make a new account. So I will have a look into this myself. But again, guys, please don't take this mail or this communication to light, okay? If you have any form of funds on MEXC, please make sure that you obviously take the necessary steps to protect your funds, okay? If you're trading in the Netherlands, you're kind of fucked. Yes, that's correct. Yes. So obviously, we do have a collaboration with OKX, and this is also something that we shared with each and every one of you guys, in all transparency. And this is also my honest take, and OKX knows my opinion about them as well. It's a good exchange, don't get me wrong. But every crypto exchange versus MEXC is simply a major downgrade. And that's just facts. No crypto exchange, that is currently compliant with MiCA can compete or will ever be able to compete with MEXC. Why? The amount of trading fees, was pretty much 0% for, I don't know, months, years maybe. I can even recall, bro, MEXC was goated. The amount of leverage, obviously, that you could use on MEXC as well. But, to everything comes an end. And, people that used MEXC as their first crypto exchange, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. You guys are pretty spoiled. And now it's going to be much tougher, especially for trading as well. So this is obviously negatively going to affect your trading stuff. So either you find a workaround, or you just hop over to, I don't know, any other exchange that you feel comfortable with, which could be OKX. I mean, we do have a collaboration with them, but then again, in all transparency, every other crypto exchange is simply a downgrade. So that's that. Keep in mind, guys, just be just be careful and take the necessary steps. I don't know, Stan. I have no clue. I don't trade on that platform, broski. This week can be interesting, guys. CPI and PPI. Very interesting. At this stage, I feel like I don't even know what's needed for Bitcoin or for crypto market to start blossoming. I mean, of course, like from a technical aspect, I do. But I really felt like there were so many opportunities to, to do or to give whatever the fuck we needed in order to really start booming. But it could still be given though. Anyways, upcoming week, CPI and PPI, very important. Also, besides the FOMC, one of the biggest, most impacted or most impactful news events that can obviously accelerate price action either to the upside or to the downside. So this is very nice to know. Because this will most likely tell us that whatever move is going to be given on Mondays and Tuesdays, this will most likely be leading up for Wednesday and Thursday. Okay. How about Bitfavo? Why not trading on a Dutch platform? Bitfavo is major gay. I would never, ever, ever trade on a or make use of a platform such as Bitfavo. You will get ripped, you will get scammed. The amount of exchange fees and whatever, bro, it's insane, man. The only for like, the boomers deluxe, only those type of people make use of Bitfavo. I would never advise to use Bitfavo. I mean, obviously, can you use it maybe for, I don't know, spot purposes? If you just buy something and you just keep it over there, that's different. But as like a trading platform, Bitfavo is the worst. Of course, OKX is 100%. They are 100% MiCA licensed, so they are backed by the EU. Therefore, they are obviously able to provide their services to pretty much all the European consumers. Yep. So OKX is legit, that's not fake shit. You will never ever get a MiCA license by the EU or from the European Union if you wouldn't be compliant, if you wouldn't be respecting their guidelines. So OKX is just one of many, of course, again, one of many, or I wouldn't say one of many, one of the few crypto exchanges that is MiCA licensed. Yeah, of course, bro. OKX is 100% legit. I mean, Bybit, Hanwei is using Bybit. But he doesn't use Bybit EU. He makes use of Bybit Global, so that's a different thing, But yeah, OKX is legit for sure, 100%, 100% trustworthy. Again, Wednesday and Thursday, very interesting. See, what's up, Ali? Give me a quick second. Yeah. Nah, I mean, it's how can I say, he's good friends with them, so He's good friends with him. Anyways, let's go back to the charts. Last week, slow price action, but again, you know, they did give some nice trades. 8:30 a.m. Yeah, listen, broski, I have Finland as VPN, so there's an hour difference, yeah. But this doesn't make sense indeed. I don't know. Pretty weird. Yeah, Ruben. But we are currently in a crypto stream, broski. I don't really feel like entertaining those things right now. Okay, so anyways, guys, don't lose hope. That's the only thing that I can say. Don't lose hope. Okay. Crypto is not doing bad. Crypto is in a position where it can give what we are looking for, guys. You know, and that's pretty much a confirmation of 65K. As you can see, you know, the thing is, my market update of last week was unfortunately blocked because I played some house music and it got blocked worldwide, so I can't remove it. But I can recall that I was mentioning about a local, you know, Bitcoin setup. Once you started gaining 63.5K, if I'm not mistaken, which they locally did. Eventually, they gave a, you know, a very nice reversal, and then from that point onwards, that was pretty much the only trade that they really gave, from my perspective. However, now, and this is very interesting, 65K, you know, is equivalent to a lot of important price action levels. This is a level, if we focus on particular swings, okay, and then I'm going to highlight this piece of price action and I'm going to highlight this piece of price action. In price action terms, we would consider the left part to be a so-called move to the high, and we would consider this bottom part to be the so-called move to the low. And there's a lot of price interaction with 65K. Therefore, in order for Bitcoin to really start blossoming and start booming and actually start, you know, getting more upside momentum, I would say, we would really need a confirmation of a gain. Okay, we would need Bitcoin to really get above 65K, 66K, I would say, with some clear strength. Okay, which is obviously going to get displayed on the 4-hour or on the daily time frame. So that's pretty much the only thing that I'm looking for Bitcoin in order to really start going towards, I would say, I would say maybe even 72K, maybe at some point 78K, you know. This could be a local bottom once we start gaining 65, 66K. So it's actually looking very nice, guys. That's all I can say, man. I mean, locally, obviously, we have this level, you know, this daily move to the low, which we are currently, as of right now, rejecting. But then again, you know, that doesn't mean we simply need to look for lower prices. We can simply just invalidate it by getting above it, as mentioned, right? And then start booming. You also need to understand that when we zoom out, and then I'm drawing this level a little bit more to the left side, therefore 65, 66K, you know, you need to understand that on a weekly time frame, once we get above the 65, 66K range, then we are, like, you know, gaining, or we are getting above resistance levels, so to say, on a weekly time frame, which we haven't done in ages. And that's something definitely worth taking into account. That's actually very good, very strong. That's very good behavior from Bitcoin. So instead of looking to the way down, or like instead of looking down, instead of looking at lower prices, which again, you know, at some point of time we could definitely go there, but on a short-term basis, we know that if we get above 66, 65K, the chances are higher that we would see Bitcoin go towards 78K. Because again, you know, if I simply draw a horizontal line from this point onwards, okay, and obviously I understand it's a little bit hindsight, okay, but then again, this is what we call a move to the low, right? And I understand it's it's very technical. I speak with a lot of jargon, But then again, it's up to you, you know, to just get up to date with our lingo, so to say. From this point onwards, we obviously dumped. Just have a look at these red candlesticks. It's very clear, it's very plain and simple. It shouldn't be too difficult to understand this part. So instead of, you know, getting above this level, we never really got above it. This became our new move to the low. Did we get above it? No. Far from it. This became our new move to the low. Okay? And as you can see, I guess if I would explain it in a retail way or something, the waves, okay, so to say, they become less powerful. Okay? So right now, as you can see, this became a so-called new move to the low. So we are really talking about getting above weekly levels. Guys, we are really talking about getting above weekly levels. That hasn't been the case for, I mean, I would say, guys, about 9, almost 10 months, which is crazy, okay? Which is crazy, from the very high to the very low, so to say. So buckle up. And that obviously could be given, this extra push that crypto needs, that could be given by potentially the CPI and the PPI. So that's actually kind of interesting, okay? Something to be, something worth taking into account. And then obviously, what are the price targets for me once we start getting above 65, 66K? I would definitely look at 72 and 78K. Those are my key levels. 72K and 78K. And that's about it, man. And then obviously, you know, at a later stage, guys, I don't really want to look at targets, you know, all the way around all-time high range. That's not really, you know, applicable, or that shouldn't be too relevant right now, because it's too early to say that this is going to be the global bottom, right? What could happen, and that's something you guys need to understand as well. Of course, we could potentially, you know, give or get something like this. But then again, if you would, hypothetically speaking, reject on a higher time frame because we are still downtrending on a weekly, you could still make new lows. You know, you could still take everybody out. But then again, locally, obviously, we could, you know, look to the upside. But then really on the higher time frame of things, we could still dump towards lower. That's something that you would never, you know, be able to forecast as of right now. So it would be a little bit too premature for me to say that this would be the global bottom. However, again, and then I'm very repetitive with what I'm going to say, once we start getting above 65 or 66K, I would definitely be very interested in taking the so-called confirmation longs towards, let's say, 78K, you know, or potentially higher. You know, always make sure that you understand the bigger picture. You know, first 66K, then obviously at a certain stage, once we get there, then I would say, you know, 78K. And then obviously when you get above the 78K, yeah, then okay, then I would say this would be the actual bottom, because then you're gaining monthly levels, and that's something you shouldn't take too light, you know. But as long as you don't get above, that's pretty much my overall conclusion as of right now. That's what I would like to point out. You know, it could be nice on the short term. You can definitely see crypto pump for sure. But as long as you don't get above 78K, there's still a possibility that Bitcoin could go down lower. Okay. But then again, local versus global. So this would actually be my technical analysis for now. I don't want to overcomplicate it. As long as you guys just understand what this is, you know, what I point out, and what this is. There's a major difference in these two levels. Is it worth trading if you only have a couple of hours in the evening every day? Of course. Why wouldn't you? Bro, you're pretty much investing, or you're trying to, you know, learn you're trying to, what is it? Get engaged with something that where you could potentially benefit of from the for the rest of your life. Why wouldn't you? You know? That alone should give you enough motivation to start, you know, doing something. And then again, I'm not necessarily saying that trading, you know, is the best to do. Maybe you're a different person. Maybe you like more e-commerce or whatever. But again, instead of just, sitting still and thinking about it, just start doing, get your hands dirty, and yeah, dale. You got a free course publicly available for people like you. Consume that shit, get active. It's very important, bro. Get active. No time to sleep, puppy. It's almost 2027. Come on, boys. It's almost 2027, man. The fuck? Time is flying. Spara. Let me see. Yeah, guys. Again, pretty much what I thought, and I will just stick by this analysis over and over again. For me, it doesn't really make sense to really zoom in on the lower time frame. I'm just here to give you higher time frame stuff. Again, as long as we hold 1800, which is this zone, to the bottom, I would just simply say more upside. So again, even if you would zoom in locally, whatever, for me personally, there's no real reason to believe that Ethereum is going to dump from this point onwards. I would say, especially on the 4-hour, also on a daily time frame, simply up until proven otherwise, which is obviously beneficial if you're looking at higher prices on crypto. Okay. Just cashing out my items in I haven't gained. 5K is a good start balance for trading, bro. It's plenty. It's I would even say if you're a newcomer with trading, I would reserve at most maybe then 300 euros or something, and then just be dedicated with this amount, with this small portion of money, and then obviously whenever you feel more comfortable and you get active and you get more confidence in your trading skills and you become consistent in your decision making skills, then obviously at some point you can scale up. But right now it doesn't make sense that if you got 5K that you immediately invest the 5K. Doesn't make sense. You don't, because then obviously you risk your entire 5K if you don't know what you're doing, which isn't necessarily, advised. Yeah, I mean, globally just up. I'm looking at like 2300 at some point, I guess, which could be very nice if Bitcoin is going to do whatever the fuck we want it to do, which takes ages. Then I can definitely see Ethereum go towards, yeah, I would say 2300 or something. Yeah, I guess 2300. Yeah, I know, broski. That's my mistake. Yeah, that's good. I don't really want to talk too much about it because I'm currently just doing a crypto stream, obviously. But yeah, bro, that's a chance, or that's the risk that I take, puppy. It's my shit, man. Don't worry too much about it, patron. you know. I got a little bit salty, but that's my bro. Nobody puts a gun on my head, and it's pretty much my own conscious decision. That's life. That's life. Give me a sec. So again, price targets 2300. Yeah, bro, I'm fast as fuck, boy. I'm fast as fuck, boy. I'm fast as fuck, boy. Um, let me see. Give me a sec, homies. So, what is this? Just looking at another level on ETH. sec. Mm, this one's kind of tricky. You can literally just sweep everything over here. I shouldn't overanalyze this shit. Let me just keep it simple. I would just focus on this particular level, I guess. So this is the second box or the second zone. So like overall targets for me on Ethereum, obviously, again, long story short, pardon me, definitely more upside, okay, considering what Bitcoin is going to do. I do feel like if I can give an educated guess, and you know, again, speculation to a certain extent, but I feel like we can definitely start getting more momentum and start getting more upside. 2K would be a nice target, and then obviously once you get above 2K, 2300. Is Fiat Ballers worth it? Fiat Ballers is always worth it, broski. Whether you trade with 100 euro or 1K, you just need to understand, again, just like Eric. What's up, Abe? You need to understand that people like you, if you join Fiat Ballers, you pretty much speed up your learning curve, okay? Again, guys, 100 euros or whatever, that's tuition money. That's tuition fee. You're learning a skill where you can profit from for the rest of your fucking lives, okay? And Fiat Ballers is pretty much the perfect place to be, man. Literally. It is. People are really, you know, really showing very good results. Do you personally also look at altcoins? I mean, I haven't looked at altcoins for 2 years, but maybe, you know, at a certain stage, if I feel like we start getting the momentum that I'm looking for, then I would be interested in potentially investing. Why wouldn't I? For sure. Why wouldn't I? Yeah, so last week I can recall that I wasn't really too interested. Yeah, of course, bro. And you can always try a month, right? Again, free content out there. Watch the YouTube channel. It's not that difficult, broski. You know, just consume it. Then you kind of like get the first glance of what we do. Again, earlier this week, we have created a so-called starter kit. Again, this isn't free. Okay, this isn't free, but this is made for the VIP. So you obviously have the free price action course, but it's very technical. But this course, mini course, so to say, for the VIP members is pretty much to get them up to speed with the overall level of Fiat Ballers. So you pretty much have everything that you need to know. You pretty much have all the resources, all the information from our end to make shit happen, man. If you're a good trader and consistent, profitable each month, what is a realistic monthly wage? Difficult to say. Very difficult, broski. Very difficult to quantify. You know, some people have, let's say, 5K, some people have 50K, some people have 500K, some people have a couple of million to trade with, you know. And again, you know, you can be profitable. Let's say if you're profitable back to back, like months to months, sometimes you can profit 5%, then you can profit 15%, then you can maybe profit, I don't know, depending on how much you risk, right? It's very difficult to say, yeah, how much you can profit. But obviously, the more budget you have and the better of a trader you are, the more money you can make. That's a fact. Again, guys, Solana's currently doing what I wanted them to do. I didn't take any longs on crypto whatsoever last week. But finally, I feel like right now we are doing what we wanted to do, which is having a confirmation of a gain of 75. So at some point, if it goes towards, there are a couple of things that they can do. Yeah, they can either just locally go up and sweep 80, which is obviously, you know, this short liquidity to the left side, or they can go a little bit more towards 81-ish. And then once we start locally losing, maybe we can be looking for some shorts towards potential longs. I guess that would be the play. So just long story short, probably just keep on looking for longs until we reach the 79.81 range, and then from that point onwards, maybe look for local shorts towards the better confirmation longs, obviously. Because again, when you think about it and you have a look at the daily, I don't consider this to be a confirmation of a loss of a level, right? This, the retracement from, let's say, 84 towards 70 is, very simply speaking, just a sweep of a daily level. We didn't lose anything on a daily. Therefore, we are currently gaining very locally on the daily, which means more upside. Okay, don't be looking for shorts. Can you play local shorts once you obviously have your, confirmations? Of course. But keep in mind, overall plan, longs into very local shorts into the bigger confirmation longs towards much more upside. And then we would be looking towards, let's say, 87, 88. I'm personally looking at 96. I'm personally looking at 96 because I'm very interested in this failure. But yeah, those are pretty much my key levels, I would say. What's up, Babayan? Style. You're a big gambler, so my problem will be not risking too much when it's going too well. You need a plan, bro. There's a very clear difference in casino, or you need to make a very clear differentiation between trading on the charts, which is a business, and obviously casino. Casino is casino, broski. If you really want to be a DGNS motherfucker, you just do that shit. Yeah, but that's also something that we are helping you with, And that's the beauty of Fiat Ballers as well, because there's no real other group that is as active as us. We pretty much share our plans on a daily basis every single morning. Fuck Jade. Every single morning at 9 a.m. I share my trading plan, across all the markets, at least, across the markets that I trade myself or that we trade ourselves. So don't get me wrong, but you're pretty much just, it sounds gay as fuck, but I'm just pretty much holding your hand and I literally give you the plan and I tell you what the fuck to do, Erik. So there's no real gambling, There's no real gambling to be done on the charts. I literally tell you the plan. We do this on a daily basis, bro. So this would be my plan eventually. I will definitely be looking at very, very nice longs, man. At very nice longs. However, locally, I don't really expect them to go down right now. I would just like Solana first to sweep out everything. Yeah, of course, bro, of course. Trust me. We got you, man. Don't worry. So obviously, ideally speaking, I would want Solana to just go up, take out all the short liquidity that you see here pointed out, and then local shorts into potentially local shorts into local longs. Because Solana's looking juicy as fuck. And I told you guys last week, if Solana does what it needs to do, I'm going to focus on Solana. Bitcoin, fuck Bitcoin. Ethereum, fuck Ethereum as well. Solana is going to be my motherfucking bitch. And it's going to make me a lot of money. Gold, finally, man. Jesus, this motherfucker. Jeez. Finally, it did what it needed to do. Or it's about to do what it needs to do. Yeah. So obviously, we've been pretty much talking about this for months, I would suppose. Yeah. You can just watch back the market updates, as we pretty much shared this zone with each and every one of you guys. I rounded it to 4K. I would say I wasn't really too keen and too happy with this, ping pong price action after, having made new lows, especially with this part. But eventually, they gave it. So very happy, man. Very happy. Very happy with this. So obviously right now, yeah, that's good. Very happy with this. It's doing amazing stuff. I would say right now, since it kind of like hit the 4.3K, which is a very key level. This is a key level. If we get above this particular level, guys, then I would definitely see gold getting even more momentum in the course of the time, obviously, towards at least 4.6, 4.7K. That would definitely be my prediction. So instead of looking at lower, okay, that scenario, I would say for now, on the short term, is invalidated. Okay, again, guys, I'm not implying that we will never ever be able to go toward that we will never ever be able to go towards lower. But for right now, it's very important to start switching. You know, instead of looking at lower, once we get above 4.3K, which obviously is something that we will see in the course of the upcoming week, guys. I would say every single retest on gold is a sexy ass long opportunity towards higher. And then I would try to run it towards 4.6 or 4.7K. Let's say round it to 4.8K. It's a big box, but yeah, that's pretty much what I'm looking at. You know, but then again, I would prefer seeing gold first get above 4.3 and then potentially retrace instead of like dump right now. They could still do it. Obviously, there are still plenty of I guess levels or something. But yeah, it's not looking bad. That's all I can say. It's not looking bad. It's not looking bad. So yeah, I would say as long as we hold 4100, it's just locally up. Nothing really more to say. If we lose this, then obviously then that's the stage where we start dumping towards lower. What's up, TTM? So gold is kind of simple. Finally started breaking out, hitting TPs though. So be careful. We'll see. If we get above 43, then it would be nice. Silver, we don't look at silver. NQ, sexy. Sexy. Yeah. There are, for me personally, pardon me, there are actually quite some levels to the upside. So don't really focus too much on all these fucking levels. But I would say overall up. I would say overall more upside, for sure. I would say overall more upside, for sure. Yeah, NQ is crazy. Yeah, Pombo. I think like if I really needed to make a differentiation, or if I need to make a distinguishment between all the local levels, I would probably just focus on 30.5 or something. Let's make a box out of this. I would probably say this box. That's probably one of the most important levels though. Yeah, guys, trading is very trading is very nice, man. That's all I can say. Trading is nice, especially if you know what you're looking at. If you also get like the proper guidance and stuff. I would say, you know, I'm not really a big fan anymore of this local short. Can it be given? I guess. But we aren't really losing anything, yeah. Because if we look at the 4 hour, I would say this is, let's say, a bigger loss, a bigger retest after making new highs. This is something which you gained, which you had, pardon me, which you held. Therefore, you're pretty much expecting new highs. So I wouldn't, I would say this was more a short for more continuation to the upside. So instead of, you know, sharing local levels with you, I would be more focused on taking longs. And then I guess if you really want to take a potential short again, this is what I envision. I would say wait for a new high to be made around 30.1K. That's something that I would focus on. Yeah, that's something that I would focus on. So what do we need to lose? So this is very important, right? So we know that the current price action that we see is most likely going to give us more upside. However, what do we need to lose in order for NQ to get more downside. And then I'm pretty much getting towards the 29.2k. So let me actually just, you know, do this. So I would say locally on NQ, just more upside. Let me get rid of this. Let me make a box out of this, clean up the chart a little bit. And this is actually a chart that I stand by. So I would say more upside. Maybe once we, you know, take out this local liquidity, maybe you can have a very local short. But then again, every short that will be given is a long opportunity towards higher. Only if we lose 29.2k, then I can definitely see NQ, you know, down towards lower levels. But then again, on the higher time frame of things, every dump is a long opportunity towards higher. That's pretty much what I would say. So these are my levels. These are my levels. So locally, more upside. Maybe take a new short once we, you know, have a new high, made a new high, and take out this stuff as well. And else it's just going to make new all-time highs, guys. And that's actually something that we should be able to entertain as well. But then again, in order to make new all-time highs, you need to get above this 30.4k. So only if you get above 30.4, then you make new all-time highs. So long story short, crypto very interesting. I mean, not necessarily right now, but on the bigger picture of things, I would say let's wait for 65, 66k. When you get above that, yeah, Casa, to say it like this, you know, Ethereum, I would say more upside. Solana, I would say more upside. A very good plan. This is also something that I will be, you know, that I intend to play myself as well. Gold, you know, depending on what it's going to do locally at around this zone, I would still expect more upside on a global, you know, globally speaking, you know, and NQ as well. So long story short, pretty much all markets, more upside. And that's crazy to me. It's crazy, bro. I don't know how the fuck or where they print this money from. But apparently it's all possible. So yeah. Who am I to question this? Top is infinite, I guess. Can I do silver? I'll share the silver chart with you privately. Yeah. So guys, again, Fiat Ballers, we are live since a week. We have already added a new course for the newcomers as well. We provided already quite some, you know, value, some extra value for people like, you know, for people that are interested in Fiat Ballers. And we will definitely, you know, build more in the upcoming weeks, if not months. So there are actually quite some things that we will be, you know, planning to execute on. And we will become a household name, you know, internationally then. So yeah, this is it for me, man. Do you have any questions, guys? Let me know. And again, guys, don't be a Mariku, you know. Make sure that you transfer your funds from Maxi if you still actively trade on it. Don't be this 1 voor 12 type of guy that starts, you know, taking the necessary actions once it's too late. Don't be surprised if they freeze your funds. That's about it. Okay, guys. Yes, Al Gucci. Yeah. Okay. No more questions? Then I am hopping off. I'm going to get my well-deserved massage, bro. My body is fucking stiff. What's up, Brain? Yeah. Homies, I will see you. And for all the people that are currently not in Fiat Ballers, consider joining the very best group in the game, man. That's all I can say. Genuinely, consider. We are the best. We have a lot to offer. Guys, have a nice weekend. Enjoy your Sunday. Take care, man. Ciao, ciao. Bless.